Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Keeping It Real with Coach Neal. Alongside the head coach of the UNCW Seahawks, Chris Neal, I'm Eric Rue. And Coach, another split week for you, one win, one loss. This time it's in league play. You open the conference slate at Elon, drop a 3-1 defeat, but you come back and defeat Northeastern 2-0 at home on Sunday. Just your overall thoughts on the opening week of conference play.
I thought we played really well in both games in certain phases. The difference between Thursday and Sunday is on Thursday we made some very uncharacteristic mistakes at the back that Elon punished us for. And on Sunday we cleaned a lot of that up. It was extremely hot on Sunday as well. And Northeastern was a long way from home in Boston. That Mother Nature was on our side on Sunday as well. And then, the unfortunate red card to Northeastern's goalkeeper early in the match changed the face of that game completely. To be fair to us, we got in behind them, and their goalkeeper made a fantastic initial save outside of her box with her feet. And unfortunately, the ball fell right for them. Fortunately for us, it fell right to Lauren Ellis, and Lauren put it back on the frame, and the goalkeeper was trying to recover and instinctively used her hands, but she was outside the box. So, to be fair to us, we put that goalkeeper under the stress that initially led to the red card situation. But I was real happy with our team on Sunday. And you got to get your home games. You got to win your home games, and you got to get 3 points at home. And we did that.
Going back to Thursday briefly, Talia Paris scores for you. And over the last few games, it seems like she's really starting to become more comfortable on the field and become a little bit more aggressive on the offensive side. What have you seen from her?
Talia is playing like she is on a mission this year. She was a freshman last year, and I think there's some things that she feels she wants to make right about her game this year, and she seems really determined to lead us to a championship. So it's very comforting to see her grow and get more confident and more mature and tougher every single game.
Moving along to Sunday, the 2-0 result against Northeastern, a team that has given the Seahawks fits over the last half dozen years. That early red card, Northeastern's playing down. How much of an advantage does that become for you, especially on a hot day like you had Sunday afternoon?
Well, if you approach it with the right tactics, it can be a huge advantage. If you approach it with the mindset of, we're up a man, and because we're up a man, we're just going to win, that's not an advantage. And that's somewhat what we were doing at the end of the first half. Fortunately, on the ensuing free kick from the red card foul, Morgan Nanny finished a wonderful free kick. And I don't know if you're going to ask about that later or not, but Morgan has been working on those free kicks for 2 weeks now, so I'm really proud of that finish, and I know she's elated. But getting back to the tactics, when you're up a man in that type of weather conditions, that type of heat, you really need to let the ball do the work, and you've got to simplify your passing scheme, and you've got to keep the other team moving, and eventually a crack will open up. What you don't want to do is lose the ball quickly or needlessly, and that's what we were doing toward the end of that first half. We were giving Northeastern opportunity after opportunity to counter us. And the Damon kid up top is a real threat on the counter, and we were playing kind of right into their hands. So just because you go up a man, it's not an automatic advantage, because teams are smart. They're going to change tactics, and they can still punish you. But we made some adjustments at halftime, and I felt that we took advantage of our man advantage in the second half.
1-0 Seahawks at the break. Second half, you continue to push the issue. Jordan Fabry then gets a great through pass from Emily Moxley, and she puts one home for her second goal of the year to kind of give you that insurance marker that you needed.
Yeah, and it's two freshmen. If you think about that, two freshmen giving you an insurance goal against Northeastern, who is a traditional CAA power, that's a wonderful feeling.
Looking ahead now, 2 more league games on the docket. Charleston Thursday night. The Cougars are off to a 2-0 start before you head to Towson. As you look at this regional rivalry on Thursday with Charleston coming into town, what do you see as the biggest issues as you prepare for the Cougars?
I think that a lot of people, and Charleston maybe included, looked at the loss of Laura Ortega last year. She graduated, and thought, there's no way this Charleston team can be as good as they were with Ortega. But right now they're 7-3. They're 2-0 in the league. And I'm not buying it that they're not as good without Ortega. I think they're as good, just in a different way. And so I think a challenge is making sure our players understand that. And we've got Thursday and Sunday of this past week took a significant amount out of us physically and mentally. Sunday with the heat, physically, it's going to take a lot of time to recover from that. I don't know what the weather was like where Charleston played. I believe they were in Philadelphia, so it probably wasn't 96 degrees. We have got to get recovered mentally and physically for a Charleston team that, like I said, is 7-3 and 2-0 in CAA play already.
You turn around, that game is on Thursday night at 7 o'clock here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. Then you turn around and head north and you face Towson on Sunday. Not a short trip by any stretch of the imagination. The Tigers have a new field. It's a field turf surface, so that's going to take into account for you. How do you prepare for the Tigers on that Sunday afternoon?
It's a road game on a Sunday in the CAA. The first thing you have to do is make sure your team has the right mindset. Forget about the surface. Forget about the tactics. We've got to make sure that we are incredibly up for that game. But we've got turf here, and we'll be reaching out, and hopefully we'll be able to get on that before we go see Towson so we can get used to the bounce of the ball so that the turf isn't completely foreign. But it is new, which is also nice.
One weekend into the conference season, have there been any surprises that you've seen around the league? Obviously, Charleston's 2-0. Hofstra got off to a good start. What have you seen from around the league in the opening weekend?
I think no surprise is that Hofstra is doing what Hofstra does. I think they beat Delaware maybe on the first game, or Drexel 2-1, and then on a Sunday at Hofstra they put 5 past Elon. So what hasn't changed is that Hofstra is a very tough place to play at, and they're also a very good team. Other than that, I mean, there's no real surprises. This is a league that I think if you look at our schedule, we can beat anybody. We can also lose to anybody. From a league standpoint, that is incredibly fun, and it's also incredibly stressful, all packaged into one. There's no game that you can look at on the schedule and say, okay, we should be able to get the end of the bench out for a run out in that game. So there's no surprises from that standpoint at all. I think it's going to be a fun and crazy year again in the CAA.
Well, Coach, we wish you the absolute best of luck. We'll chat with you again next week.
Thanks.
That's the head coach of the Seahawks, Chris Neal. I'm Eric Ruth. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Keeping It Real with Coach Neal.